Hello everybody, and what's going on? So today it's going to be another tutorial of basic language programming tutorials with just basic compiler, and I'm going to be explaining about user functions. User functions are different from the normal functions, from the normal built-in functions that we talked in the third tutorial, I remember. Okay, so let's start, and let's go ahead and open up just basic. And then let's start by making a new file. Okay. Right now, what we're gonna want to do is just want to tell you something. Firstly, user functions are always typed at the end of the program, at the very end of the program, because if you want to use the function after you have typed it, you can't use it. It's gonna make an error or something. I don't know, but so it's better you type it at the end of your program so you can use it in any place in your program you want. Type up the function command in order to tell just basic that I want to make my very own function. Okay, now what do you want to do after the function name? After the function name, you want to the function word, you want to give it the function name. So let's call it my fun as an example. This is simply going to be the function name. If the value returned from the function is number value, then don't place the $sign. If it's a string value, then place the $sign. Okay. Now after we have typed the name in our function, we want to place two parentheses. Between them are going to be the arguments that are going to be passed into this function. If you would say right over here x, if you would say right over here x is simply the first argument passed into our function. To separate arguments, just like normal functions, place a comma. Then the second argument, if the argument passed is a string, you can make any of them string, any of them numbers, just place the $sign at the end. Okay? Now every stuff we're gonna do are gonna be in here. So I'll type up do some stuff. And then after doing everything about this function, we want to type up end, then function, just like end if or something like that. Okay. So we have created our function. We told them the values passed for them, the name for the function. Now let's start by working on our function. So how we can tell the program the value returned is something like if you wanna type up print my fun with some number, then a string in this case, there's gonna be a new value returned from this function. So what is that value, and how you can tell the program that you want to give this value? Simply, it's the function name itself without the parentheses and the values passed. Type up in this case my fun, just like you typed it in the name, and then equal sign. This is going to be the value returned from the function. That's why we place a $sign if the value returned was a string, because the value returned is simply the name itself. Okay, let me delete this. I don't want it. I just want to enter a number, and I want to multiply it by 7. Okay, so my fun is simply going to be equal to x multiplied by multiplied by 7. Now the value returned from my fun is going to be multiplied by 7. Well, here, if you would say x equals like 2 and then print my fun of x, it will say okay, x is here, the same value here, and it's going to work very fine. Let's test it right now. Okay, and type it up 14, that's right. But what if I say like z? Or I didn't place a variable here, I placed a number. How it's gonna work? But this is not x. How is it gonna work? It's gonna work anyways. Look, it's gonna work anyways, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because x passed right over here is not the real x outside the function. I know that all the variables inside functions are simply different from variables outside the function. So if you would say right over here x equals 10, that does not mean that the value passed in this case right over here is 10. It means the value wherever the programmer or the user is going to place between those parentheses right over here, the function is gonna say, okay, whatever is gonna be x, and this x is not the same as this x. Okay, pretty simple, huh? If you understand, this is pretty much everything for functions. You can also add way more stuff right over here, like say x equals whatever, and then add some variables, some arrays, but just remember that they are all different from the variables and arrays outside the function itself. Okay? One more thing to tell you, that let's say we have a function, another function here, whatever, end function. We cannot use this function inside this function, or we cannot use this function inside this function. So we cannot say, as an example, my here we can't say my fun equals the function right over here, like ASD and value past 7 multiplied by 3. Nah, we can't use any function inside another function, even if it was before it or after it. It doesn't really matter. We can only use built-in functions inside stuff in the functions. Okay, that was pretty much everything for this tutorial. Pretty simple, pretty good. Okay, thank you guys for watching, and bye.